everyone. Once again, it is time for measured response. I hope we're live. As I say this, looking at the dashboard has some fun challenges. But I'm going to assume we're live because we are recording. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'm Jeff, also known as Ysengrin, here with Safer to do a dedicated replay review stream. Say hi, Safer.
Hello, Safer.
Oh my. Sorry, I'm just laughing because Eric was complimenting us on having an opening bit and we almost missed it this time. So, you know, or at
Technically,
least,
I said hello instead of hi, so
yes.
gotta keep
Um,
them on their toes.
how are you doing? What's up with you this week?
I'm doing well. Last week was great. I was at Origins last week, and I had so much fun. I really enjoyed it. I got to meet a bunch of really cool, awesome people. I got to see Super Chonk, like the pre-production copies from Super Chonk, and play, show off the game to people. And I don't know, one of my best moments was, or one of my favorite moments was, a young girl, maybe somewhere between the ages of 7 and 9, maybe coming over and being super excited to play because of the art. And then I explained the game, and she was just pure joy on her face as she was like, I want to take this food and I want to take this food. And then after the first turn, she was like, can we do another turn? And I was like, well, of course we can. How am I going to say no? Um,
That's great.
yeah, it was kind of special.
Yeah, no, I mean, like this feels like one of those things where you're like, yeah, I design games for moments like that kind of thing. So that's
Yes,
pretty
yes,
cool. Um,
110%. Yeah.
yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. My week's been all right, and I'm excited to do some replay reviews. We're gonna try. I think the last time we did a replay episode, we did half questions and then one replay. We're gonna try a little differently. We're gonna do a couple of replays today, and kind of see how that feels. And let us know if you're watching what you think about it, or if you watch it when we're not live, what your thoughts were on it. We're gonna do our best to make sure this is still consumable as an audio podcast. We got some feedback that it was at least approaching listenability, so I think we're going to keep working on that. But next week we're going to be back to a conventional measured response with questions. So if you have questions for us, the Discord, as always, has a thread for questions, and we're still definitely looking for some. And then I'll also put up a thread for replay reviews because we'd love to do some more replay reviews, especially as people are getting into, or honestly, at this point, well into the middle of Megacity season. We'd love to help practice and also learn ourselves a bit about what people are doing. So, yeah, I think that's the business top of the show. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's super important to bring up. But
I can't think of anything else.
cool. Well, without any further ado, let's go into our first game. This one, once again, comes to us courtesy of Meteor. Um, but this is a board that this is not a game we're going to analyze super carefully because this is an Eternal game. Safer, how much Eternal have you played?
I've played exactly 0 games of Eternal.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
about right. I think that's
yeah.
about as many as the median Netrunner player has played of Eternal. So it's a bit of a funky format. Um, the the other thing is I'm picking this because Meat here said, "Oh, I think it's a game that shows how cool currents can be," which is one of the hottest takes I think that I've seen. Or some evidence of actually the actual quote is, "I'm not expecting match analysis, but I'm posting it as some evidence of a game that was certainly more interesting because of currents, not less." Um, Xavier, do you want to describe what currents are for the audience that maybe hasn't played with them?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. So currents are lingering effects. They're their own card type. They are like an operation and event. Actually, okay, they're their own subtype. They are operations or events. Normally, you play them like operations or events, but then they don't go away at all until another subtype current is played by either player. Um, Current started off, I would say, a little bit innocuous. And then as the game like went on, you started getting more and more powerful currents to the point where currents were a uh, defining part of the game, and I think that's still the case in Eternal.
Yeah. Eternal has had to put. So one of the things in Eternal is that they put points on cards. So like you can still play some of the most powerful cards, but you can only play so many of the most powerful cards in the same deck. And I think a current. It's been a minute since I remember the Eternal points list, but if I remember correctly, the highest non-banned pointed card is a current on the runner side. Um,
Should be Rumor Mill, I'm pretty sure,
Yes. Yeah. Which I think should
which is
be.
a current that, if I'm not mistaken, turns off the corpse text box,
Uh, it turns
right?
off the
Or is that
text
the
box on
one?
all unique asset, non-region assets and
Never mind, it's
upgrades.
that one.
Yeah.
It's that one.
Yeah. But
It
I
has been
suspect.
so many years since I've thought about
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
cards.
Anyway, in this game, Meat Hero is going to be playing Inti Mukundu, which is a one of the most. Jateki has a lot of really stacked IDs. This is probably the most stacked one. Once per turn, when the runner approaches a server, you may install a piece of ice protecting that server in the innermost position, ignoring all costs. The runner is now approaching that ice. So basically, you get to hold the ice in. Well, this card does a lot of things, but one of them is you get to hold an ice in hand, and then like you kind of have that ice protecting all of your servers. So Jinteki being a damage faction has a lot of them. Anansi is the card we're going to reference. We're not going to go and explain what every card does. Just know that Anansi is probably the big scary one. This also gives you an econ discount on installing your ice if the runner is running that server. And also all on approach effects. So for example, Managarm Skunkworks trigger multiple times uh, if the corp chooses to order their triggers that way. So it's a very powerful anti-running corp. And Protheseus is playing Essa because Essa has made a big splash in Eternal. I actually want to say this is the deck I probably have a little bit of. I don't know exactly the list, but I was the first person to play a kind of icebreakerless Essa that just does a lot of core damage with some more core damage cards in Eternal and a couple of other powerful Eternal cards that make it so that ice is kind of not a problem. And you just kind of aggressively attack the corp with your sabotage triggers. So it's quite a bit of fun. Um, we're just gonna we mulligan our first hand and drew into an even worse one, but we'll make it work.
You think this is
Uh,
an even worse one? I don't think this is even worse.
Uh, I
Uh,
like. I don't know. I like having more ice. Like so, this first hand is two agendas, a Tatu, and Nazi, and a slot machine, and doing something like installing Tatu and slot machine and clicking for a credit like is actually I think okay. Whereas mulliganing into regular slot machine, IPO, and two caprices, like you just can't actually do anything with this hand. I feel like you just have to hope the runner respects that you have a better hand than you do, which like
sure.
it's totally doable, right? And I think it's probably what me here is going to do. Oh yeah, this is the other thing you guys do as MT is like you can just go install a regolith, click it twice, and then even though it's not currently protected, you're threatening that it has a nasty piece of ice in front of it.
Yeah. So for, I guess for the audio listeners, I'll just do the play-by-play here. Where turn one, the corporation click one installs a regolith, reses it, and then the next two clicks are just credit. They end their turn at 9 credits. They have a regolith that's face up and it has 9 credits on it, but they have no ice installed.
Yep. Yeah, but the threat of the MT is that it can go and get that ice in.
So this is actually part of the reason why I was like, I think this hand is better, just because it has some form of economy. Like the
Yeah.
other one, just like you have ice, but I don't know what you're doing.
Hmm. All right. So
So
SS click one is install a ghost tongue. Good econ. Uh, Meat here chooses to trash one of their duplicate caprices and the top card off the deck. Um,
which is an IPO.
Yep. Uh, Runner then plays.
Is that
Oh my
moshing?
goodness. Uh,
Which is
yeah,
card name
a
moshing.
moshing to trash dirty laundry raindrops on a
Yep.
paperclip. Paperclip is one of the big cards for. Oh, okay, so this isn't breaker list then. They click to draw a card, click to draw a card, and they're going to discard a crowdfunding, which is another eternal powerhouse card. Though probably this is not the matchup where it's used the most because it relies on running 3 times in a turn, which can be tricky when you have to spend a lot of your turns prepping to take a bunch of damage.
So I have two surprises here, which is one, uh, this is just going for raw draw. I don't know what they're looking for, or if it's just like, no, we like getting things into the bin, and that's part of the strategy. The second thing is that Raindrop Cutstone sees Eternal play. I
Yeah,
didn't know
so
that.
yeah, it does because a lot. I mean, a lot. There's a lot of subroutines on ice in Eternal, right? Um, and you can't always stop them from firing. So but there's a couple of staples. Slot machine is a big one. We
Yep,
saw it. It's in the hand right now. It's an ice that always has 3 subroutines, but 2 of the subroutines are only active if a certain condition has happened. So it often can just be free card draw for Raindrops Cut Stone.
sure. That makes
And
sense.
then, yeah, and then it turns out there's a bunch of other cards like Fairchild 3 or DNA Tracker or Anansi where it's like, yeah, you're probably not intending to tank them, but if you have to, you can. And there's like just a lot more ice that have incidental, like powerful subroutines, but subroutines that like, you know, you're just, they will to some extent fire, and there's just more subroutines on ice, I think, which is kind of a weird
I
thing to say.
sounds good.
Yeah.
So, second turn for the corporation is just taking 9, getting rid of the regolith entirely. Dump the regolith credits.
It's it is there's always this funny thing of everyone's like, oh man, Eternal is like such a blazing fast format. And it's like, well, in this in Eternal, the court just took 2 whole turns to unload a regolith, and that was, you know, we'll see how it goes, but seems to be the plan of what's good enough here. Um,
So what we're saying is that load-bearing regolith is also true in Eternal.
I think Meat here mentioned that, or when playing the regolith is like, oh, this was my rumor mill tech, because it's a econ card that doesn't get
Oh
turned off by
God,
rumor mill. Um,
that's so funny. That's so
yeah.
funny.
Runner here plays Running Hot just to basically as a diesel, I think. Um, then plays Inject, a one of the most powerful draw cards I think ever printed. It just is a card that ends
If
up
you thought the price was good,
yeah.
let me tell you
what
about Inject.
Yeah, what if the price instead drew you all the cards it trashed and trashed all the cards you wanted in the bin? Like it's quite the card. And yeah, we see the rumor mill hit here. One of the reasons also that Essa is quite good in Eternal is you get to play effectively 6 copies of Running Hot. So because the game is still a fast format, you basically just get a bunch of extra clicks and turns for free.
Mm,
Um,
that makes sense.
so now we're just going to do some stuff. We're going to play some Strike Fun, or we're going to use Moshing to trash a bunch of cards from our hand that we don't need. Oh, Nurse Han's coming down. I did not expect that to be an Eternal card, but it makes some sense in Essa. Um, we're going to now play a Rumor Mill and then stop. So the big thing, oh yeah, so Rumor Mill, like it turns off Charlotte Casadore, it turns off Caprice Nisei. So it's a very potent card on this kind of board state. Um, but Meat here is just going to install a
It's
piece of
just
ice, install
yeah.
card in the server, and advance and push. Because yeah, runner's not threatening any breakers. I think this is the thing that more empty players need
No,
to do is
there's
putting down
there's
ice.
a there's a paper clip in the bin. So
Oh, yep. Thank you for reminding me. Yep, paperclip in the bin. So this
so
is like actually not really a server, but it is hard for the runner to say it's not a server, especially with like no information known about what's in hand. Um, So, yep, we're just gonna, I think, probably just continue to move quickly through this. Runner does a lot, does gives themselves some more clicks, does some drawing. So it's still just setting up basically, and then Bankar comes down. One of the essential parts of making any low breaker list work. and it's a very powerful tool still in the
Yeah, so
turn.
that turn was playing amped up, gaining, going up 2 clicks, net 2 clicks, clicking to draw clicking to draw 3 times, playing Bankar, and then gaining a credit.
Yeah. I think there might have been a strike fund play in there somewhere, or an I've had worse play somewhere in there. I think it's click one.
Oh yeah, just played. I have hers. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
And we just and Meteor just gets to play out Nisei Mark II, clearing out the rumor mill. That was the other thing about currents is your two options for clearing them was either to play your own, or you had to score an agenda if you were the corp, or steal an agenda if you were the runner trying to steal agendas. But they ended up having some of this like snowballing effect where they if they helped your opponent lock you down, they became harder and harder to clear. And we'll see.
I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot about the scoring stealing text on currents.
Yeah.
Literally completely forgot about it.
um. All right. S's turn was continuing to draw and set up. One card we see installed is Same Old Thing. This was a resource that you spend 2 clicks to play an event from your heap. Um, this was, I mean, this is like one of the all-time powerful cards, and I feel like actually we're not. It's like a thing to like almost a lesson learned for me. It's like Same Old Thing is like an effect you almost don't want in the game, or at least you definitely don't want it as a zero cost neutral resource with like almost no
Yeah,
other
you
restrictions.
you actually my philosophy at the moment is that we don't want event recursion in the game. Events are supposed to be powerful one-time effects, and when they get to be more than one-time effects, then you run into problems. So like Ashen, and part of Ashen's power in standard was Seb being able to play, 6 copies of transfer or 5 copies of transfer or however many copies of transfer in a game, but also playing that many more copies of privileged access.
Yeah.
And now he can't.
Yeah. And then we also see a Hippocampic Mechanocytes come down again. This card actually was very much intended, I think, for Essa to play, but like Essa in Standard has never really played it. So interesting to see it's popping up in Eternal a little bit.
Well, I'm assuming you can just take, like, you have so many more cards to take the damage.
Yeah.
So like you want to expand the wick,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
When you
I'm assuming that's why.
yeah, when you can play I've Had Worse as well as Steelskin Scarring, you now have 6 cards that draw you cards when they get hit. You then also get Strike Fund, which makes you credits, and you have your Icebreakers, which you all want in the bin anyways because they save you a click. So you can have like almost a third of your deck that you almost actively want damage out of your hand.
And I think you'd also want like what, you also have 6 copies of running hot, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
So
and you want to
like
be able to play all of those
you are
too.
just an incredibly redundant efficient deck, it seems like.
Yeah. So Corp has 2 Dr. Vientine Keelings, which surprises me a little bit, but because this deck so far seemed like it wants to score. Um,
So
but
one of the killings goes into server 2.
Yep,
The corp takes an action to draw, and then they play an IPO, which
yep,
is just a net 5,
yep.
but
Net
it's a
five.
terminal.
Yeah, net 5 on the terminal. All right, runner Bankard declares the server 2. Clicks to draw twice, clicks to draw a third time, and then plays a rumor mill, turning off a potential Dr. Keeling in server 2. Well, anything in server 2 that's not an agenda, basically. And then discards an MK Ultra. So the runner now has access to both a Fractor and actually, I missed the Black Orchestra discard earlier, so they have access to all 3 of their breakers. Um, because, yeah, that was just the way the game was played.
I didn't realize that all of the bin breakers were actually playable.
Yeah.
Paperclip, very much new, but I stopped playing right around
Oh yeah. No,
Black Orchestra.
like they were
Beast.
not cards like they weren't the most efficient. They were like often not they were quite inefficient cards, but it turns out like saving the clicks to install pretty much made up for all of it.
It's just worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the ice like it's hard. It was hard to design an ice that was fair, that was hard for Black Orchestra to break, and still fair against every other icebreaker. So what ended up happening is either the corpse just got unfair ice that punished Black Orchestra, but there wasn't a better option anyway for Anarchs, or your ice just like folded to Black Orchestra and MK Ultra kind of things. There's a lot of ice that have weird, funky strength numbers to try and deal with Black Orchestra and MK Ultra. Um, it's one of those
Fair.
like weird card. It's one of
So
those cards that
it's
like had huge influence. Um,
Black Orchestra doesn't. Whatever. We should keep going.
yeah. Corp now under Lunar Mill lock is basically trying to draw. They did draw, or he did draw an Opakata, but doesn't feel like jamming it with a Bankar and all three breakers. Only 12 credits for the runner, so it's not like the safest thing in the world, but it's not like a thing you're, I think, loving to do, because yeah, if the corp does, if the runner just get in, they get it, like, it's gonna be sad. All right, we see. I think this is maybe the first run of the game on turn 6 into Dirty Laundry on Archives. And like this is, I think, the one of the interesting things about the MTV Can Do ID is like, because it is once per turn, like there's a lot of trying to bait the corp into figuring out, is this the only run that the runner is planning on doing this turn? If so, I should try and get value out of my ID trigger. If it's not the only run, like, do I think the next one's going to be more important? I think there's like a lot of skill expression there, but also the idea is just a little bit crazy when played.
So I like this play from Theseus here, because you're gonna flip the bin. You have Rumor Mill, which means that if server 2 is a Spin Doctor or Jackson, those are unique, which means that those are turned off. You have Bankar and all of your breakers in the bin. And this is just like otherwise like opening up other runs for you on the same turn.
Yeah,
So,
and you also draw cards off of Nurse Han. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah, we get an ice. There's no choice to jack out here. I forget if the rule is like you can jack out if it's the second ice or not. I'd have to go back and look at the timing, but I'm not particularly interested in worrying about it. Tatubola is a nice card here because the runner's basically going to spend 5 to break your 2-cost piece of ice. So it's not the end of the world here, and you're going to make money off
Not just
of it.
2-cost piece of ice, because you're gonna
Yeah,
replace it.
yeah. A -2 cost of ice.
Yep.
Cool.
The run
Then
does go through.
Yep, gain 3, makes it through. Then we play an inject, which presumably we got off of the Han draw. And then we install a Rozeki because we are not being greedy enough. I'm surprised that this card sees Eternal play. That feels odd to me. But and then finally,
And then
last
Marrow
is
to
install
trigger
Marrow.
Asa.
Yep.
Yep.
And yep, just bidding some of the connect uniques that are in the hand. And yeah, we see like, I don't know, Meter's like, oh, this game is showing how cool currents are. All I'm seeing right now is Rumor Mill just saying, Corp, you don't get to play Netrunner. Because most of your cards are unique assets and upgrades.
Well, I presume that there's going to be a score out that allows like we're breaking. Oh no, we got the scarcity.
Yeah, we're gonna.
So
I think probably
scarcity,
try to do a scarcity jam.
Counter current here.
Yeah.
So scarcity of resources just says that the install cost of each resource is increased by 2, which I think is just generally good. But the biggest thing I think is that Mether's probably going to time it specifically to kill the Rumor Mill and open up
A push at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. Granted, same old thing. Rumor Mill still works. So
yeah, it's just kind of like pick your poison. Runner just plays Strike Fund and now plays a Cheshtushka to apply some pressure on the Corp, because the Corp is, while the Corp did install, sorry, we're like doing a bad job narrating, because mostly I think it's like, I kind of want to keep moving here. Corp did install a card in server 2, threatening a potential score, but without an advancement, it's a little bit trickier. Runner plays Cheshtushka, try and get a bunch of cards in archives. We see all 3 subroutines fired. Banhar Slot Machine is a very good card into Banhar, because the subroutines on slot machine are: the runner loses 3 credits. If a minigame thing happens, the corp gains 3 credits, and if a corp wins an even harder minigame, they get to place 3 advancements. And so actually just that being 3 net damage is usually a net win for the corp over actually letting those subroutines resolve. And runner chooses to jack out because they feel like 10 credits. They feel like 10 credits is not enough. I don't know why they would think that, because so the big number to remember was a Nazi, which you had to boost, was 11 credits to be fair. So, but that was to fully break it. So in theory, I think Protheseus probably would have gambled a little bit more than he did. Just installs a brain cage, so we've got 3 different cards that provide hand size, so that even though we've taken 5 core damage, I think the hand size is still 8 right now.
Yeah, it's 8.
Yeah,
I guess this makes sense. The
yeah,
general strategy is truly milling out your opponent.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, now we see me here play scarcity of resources, resing a Jackson Howard to try and overdraw. So I'm gonna discard a bunch of agendas and then use Jackson Howard, I would assume, immediately, so that it doesn't get same old thing rumor milled. But that's not what happens. I'm very confused by why that's not happening right now. I actually think, yeah, I think if runner
It
click
seems
one
kind of
same
crazy.
old things, the rumor mill, then plays their, oh, I guess they're doing same old thing levy, but that seems worse than
Sure. Well, I mean, it
maybe.
depends on how many are in the deck,
Yeah,
right?
I guess
This
if
is
it's
also
just
some of
the
the meta
one in the
knowledge is
deck,
like,
then like maybe you don't have an option.
if you have to take back the levy, then like, yeah, it's definitely
Yeah, it
just
looks
like
like probably maybe they have
you
to
have
take
to get
back.
back your entire deck.
Yeah, though I
But
guess
even still,
also
the
you have a
levy
decent chance of just drawing the rumor mill off of the.
drawing it exactly,
Yeah, yeah, that's
exactly.
fair too. I don't know why we're spending clicks to install crowdfunding when we could be drawing for the rumor mill and just like kind of insta winning. But well, I guess no, because now we don't have our breakers either. So
I mean, we
actually,
don't
that rumor
also
mill.
actually know if there's. We actually don't know if there's things in archives.
No, that's true. We
Um,
don't. But the corp did just overdraw quite a bit with a Jackson Howard, which makes. Okay, so scarcity gives. Yeah, and also we're paying 2 credits to install each of those crowdfundings. Like I think that was just.
oh
uh,
God.
I don't know why that seems like a crowdfunding even
Yeah,
has
no,
a
no,
thing where
no.
you can ignoring all costs when you install it from the heap. So it feels very weird to spend 3 clicks installing those at 2 credits each. You're spending a click and a card in hand to make.
I think that this is probably just a missed thing. That's the only
Yeah,
explanation. I don't think anyone's trying to play
yeah,
crowdfunding for literal net 1
yeah.
and a draw.
Um, Here Rumor Mill does get played, but Rumor Mill doesn't turn off regions, and so the La Costa grid's still going to score something. Oh no, it's score it out because it's a Obokala protocol here, so it's going to
Yeah.
have to keep waiting.
Oh, we draw our first Rashida.
We draw our first Rashida, which is in a blank card because of Rumor Mill.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Runner's going to do some more amped up / running hot. Just keep milling out cards, play a Chishtushka. Uh, Talking about how
So
expensive MK
still
Ultra is.
concerned about the non-C to actually go
Yeah,
through. Concerned that MT will just put in a non-C onto the board. So
yeah,
basically making a run and then jacking out because of how much it would cost them to break a non-C.
yep. And then we see a blind last click raindrops cut stone on an empty remote, which is like sometime or an unice server, which is a thing that does happen even in standard. But instead, we're just going to see it bounce off a Tatubola res, which I don't hate, honestly. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, I don't hate
So
letting this oboe
instead
cook,
of
basically.
So instead of scoring out the 5-3, drawing 2, playing hedge, and we also draw into scarcity. Are we really that confident that the server is that safe?
I mean,
Like,
if your opponent is jacking out on everything, you probably are feeling this safe. Um,
I guess so. It's just
like also opponents
I
actually
don't know.
representing zero breakers right now. Um,
They have
so
paperclip installed.
oh, I'm sorry, except for paperclip
They have
installed, which
paperclip installed, and also like just imagine like moshing. Like you'll see so many cards. You also have Bankar. Like
yeah.
I
Probably the other upside here is that Engram Flush is a really good card for protecting an Obokata specifically, because yes, the
sure.
runner will draw a lot, but like they need to actually have the cards in hand, and they with Engram
Hmm.
Flush, it's not as difficult
They
to
don't.
pop those out.
Sure.
Yeah. Um, it's definitely on the greedy side, and I think it's mostly being happening here
Oh
because
well, we'll see what happens.
yeah, yeah, we get to see that. Uh,
So Tatu gets stopped. Oh, I think I see what's happening. You're saying, oh, I have double Ingram flush here with the uh Nisei Mark II counter. Okay, this is
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
This is cool. Double Ingram flush.
yeah. And you also yeah, you can use the first one, so you're like like if you name event, you're probably getting somewhere between 5 and 6
Right.
damage to trigger. Though in this case,
Yeah,
and like it
multiple
doesn't
opportunities.
trigger. I think of it. No, it would trigger. I think. Oh no, it doesn't. It doesn't trigger. I've had worse. It would trigger a steel skin. Um,
Mm. So we actually do. The runner does get in, is able
yeah,
to pay, has the exact cards in hand to steal it.
yeah,
So I mean, it's worth it for the runner. It I feel like it
yeah,
just we would be in a better position if we were on 5 points, but
yeah.
I
At
definitely
5 points,
see
and we'd still
why.
have the Nisei Mark II counter as well, and have cleared the
Yeah,
rumor mill. Um,
but I do see why Mether was like, yeah, it's probably safe with double Ingram flush.
yeah,
But in my head, I'm just like, you play the scarcity to turn off the rumor mill. Or no, I mean you don't even need to play the scarcity to turn off the
yeah. You
rumor mill.
just
You just
score
score it
out
out to
and you
turn
go
off the
through.
rumor mill. Yeah, and then all your other
Yeah.
things are online, and then they have to do it again, and then you have the scarcity
Yeah.
to beat the
Get
next rumor
okay.
mill.
I'm just realizing that we've been going for half an hour, so I might just like
That's
I
fair.
honestly let's just stop this replay here. I think
We
maybe
did it.
we'll
We reviewed.
yeah um
I mean, it was an interesting game to watch since I have not watched much at all internal, and I would say that it didn't look that foreign of a format to me.
yeah
Um, I I think that there was only uh, I think I only haven't played with Ingram Flush and Slot Machine nominally. I didn't play too much with Rumor Mill. I certainly didn't play with MK Ultra or like the Century Breaker, but
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
yeah, I'm not sure that that game convinced me that currents for adding a lot. Rumor mill is a big you, you don't get to play corp today button, and I didn't see it not do that. But we've got a very different replay. This is we're gonna try and once again to not do super deep analysis, but clearly we're not great at that. This comes to us courtesy of Evil Brennan and says literally one of the best and funniest mid-tier games I've played in my life. Tried a janky LEO deck versus Ari and went completely off the rails. Welcome feedback, cheering and laughing at my many misplays. Um,
Nice.
oh,
So,
yeah,
uh, we are Elio versus Ari, and our hand is Mitra Rahman, Marcia Ballard, Boomy 1.0 tier hedge fund. Do you keep this? I think I'm keeping this.
yeah. I think you're okay to
Seems
keep
like a
this.
great keep.
Like you're not going to do anything exciting with this hand probably for a couple of turns, but you do,
I
you
mean,
know.
you have no agendas. You hedge. You have Mercia to start installing things. Like I feel like I'm pretty happy with this.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is a hand that's not like going to pressure the runner to do stuff right away, but it's also a hand that like sets you up really well for a strong mid game, with like very low liabilities, which is great. And seems like one of the things you want is LEO. Um,
Sure.
in general, like obviously we don't know exactly what Funky Things is doing. Though honestly, with a Mitra and a tier, I feel like we're looking at. I mean, maybe we're looking at gank shenanigans, but we're probably just looking at like I want to play big ice and splash around.
Yeah.
And so like Ari is a matchup where I'm definitely a little scared of that because that deck can scale in a pretty scary way. Um, but at the same time, like Boomy is pretty nice against Trojan dot deck. So I don't know. I think this can be an interesting one for sure. It has the potential to go. Both players have, I think, a lot of agency in the matchup.
Click the buttons. So
Uh,
keeps the hand. Great. We draw MIC.
yeah.
What do we do for our first turn?
Um, I'm probably looking at just something like I also want to draw, like go draw a hedge fund, install Mercia, and then like protect the Mercia with on probably R&D because our hand's just not. We don't care if the runner spends time running our hand here. Um,
I think that's. I mean, I do like draw.
yeah.
I think that. I think it's slightly awkward because you don't want to be forced to res ice on a irrelevant server, which R&D probably not particularly relevant,
Hmm.
to protect specifically the Mercia. So I actually probably am starting to build a remote
Okay. Yeah,
here.
that
Like I
makes
think I'm
sense.
doing like hedge Mercia MIC on remote. I think that this is also fine. And actually
Yeah,
maybe even better.
maybe it is. I don't know that I like it quite as much, but Evil Brand just goes hedge and ice R&D, ice HQ. Um, oh, can I get this?
What I
Oh,
like
I can't.
about
Yeah,
this
that's why I'm doing this in spectator view. I forgot about that. I'll
sure.
need to tell
Uh
Lost Geek about that. But anyway,
What one thing that I do like about this play is that like you're not exposing the Mercia pretty much at
hmm
all. I would definitely have probably played the Boomy though into one of these.
yeah, putting down. I mean, the cheater we literally can't res, and the MIC we can't res. Like if the runner just goes like click one, run. Like okay, we're pretty happy if they click one, run an MIC. Though it's Ari, so they actually could deal with that if they wanted to. Um,
I just don't
and
want to commit that much like
yeah,
money
we're
to
committing so
again
much
resing
money to
ice on
that.
this situation. Yeah.
Yeah,
So the runner now goes credit, credit, play lily pad, play knick-knack.
going
All
to
right.
one. Okay,
And
that's not
it's
a
an
line I
investment.
would. Yeah, that's their. They're down to one credit, three cards in hand, and then Evil Bren here draws a boomy. I'm probably clicking to draw here again because I still don't have much to do,
Yeah.
but we have some nice tools when we get there. Um,
Probably clicking to draw twice here. That's what
yeah,
probably what I'm doing. So we have click for credit, install Mercy on HQ, install Mitra on R&D. Um,
I'm not.
so we're doing some sort of turtling here, and by doing this we do we do make it so that if they run into R&D, we can pop the Mitra and then have enough money to res the tier.
Yeah. Yep. That
So
is.
that is
That's
worth noting.
yeah. That's fair. We're gonna rest the Mercia and then move it over to server one and put the boomy there. That's fine. I just it. Yeah. It feels like we could have gotten more value out of this turn, but this is not like
Yeah, the other thing that I'll say about Mercia is that like stacking ice is partially where you get the value out of her.
yeah,
Um, so like I wouldn't have actually hated Mercia moving to R&D and then putting that ice in R&D. Like that, you just like kind of start turtling up a little bit here. And then you
yeah.
can later, if you end up drawing
Yeah, you
more
could install that a
like
different ice. You could install that ice on your new remote, then move Mercia, and you get that credit gain as well, kind of
right.
immediately.
Yeah, it's like if you end up drawing more ice, well, then you can start building out the remote. If you start drawing agendas, you can throw the ice that you already have onto HQ and have a double stack on centrals. If you draw into economy, excellent. We actually drew into economy, which is the only thing that we actually want to be drawing here. So it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, the protecting R&D thing is fine. Or double icing HQ is also fine.
yep. Runner's just going to spend their whole turn clicking for 3 credits, installing a Muse to get a Coalescence. Um, so, yeah. Uh, Yeah, that is literally their entire turn.
I'm kind of surprised. So what, they needed
If they had
exactly that number of credits to play the musical? Yeah,
Yes, they did. Yeah. I
that's
mean, so
bad.
if they had done this in the if they had installed the Muse Coal and not installed the Lily Pad, they could have just saved themselves a turn and they'd be down one card, but they'd have saved like
Right.
they could have
Yeah.
run archives and gotten that like there's sequencing
Yep.
problems here. But
Yep.
um
I
all right,
think
so
that I want to quickly touch on this, which is for players where you're. I mean, it's probably all Netrunner players. Try to eke out all value from all cards as much as possible, right? And it's like, oh, I feel bad if I missed a lily pad draw or whatever. Um, and I would encourage people to challenge that assumption and just be like, what if I don't need to like uh, completely min max every single card because there's always going to be trade offs for something.
yeah, I mean
And the
like
trade off
here
here
it's
is
the
like
like
not applying pressure.
oh then not only not applying pressure, like it's actually slower to play. Like you get to this
I mean, it is.
same board state where you've drawn the same number of cards, but you actually are getting there like 3 clicks faster at least.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so
It's
yeah,
correct.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I think
I,
something to think about whenever you're thinking about installing a card that has a long term value proposition like Lilypad. Ask yourself like, you know, it's going to draw me a card this turn, a card next turn. Is this actually better to install than just clicking to draw right now? And like, I'm a huge lily pad lover. I play 3 lily pads in a lot of my decks, but it is not always a card that you slam down.
well, you just don't want to go to like below sure gamble thresholds because you're going to be
Yes,
clicking for
yes,
cards.
or in this deck,
Yeah.
probably environmental testing thresholds, but actually maybe not
Makes
if we're
sense.
seeing a knack on the table. But as the corp here, we draw an architect deployment test. It's not ideal. Yeah, I
I
think
think
we
I'm
would have really liked to draw
probably
an ice or
clicking the.
econ.
Yeah, depending on how much economy you have in the deck, I'm clicking probably to draw like 3 times here.
Yeah.
Um, but if you don't have that much econ in your deck, let's say that you're playing a really janky deck, I might just click for 3 credits because
Mm-hmm.
we're going to need money to res all of those tiers and MICs. And I don't
Yep.
know how we're doing it. Oh,
All right, so
working
we got a
prototype.
working
Okay, that's
prototype, which is an interesting card for an LEO deck. But you know what? Uh, so we're installing
oh
a new
no, why is it
remote.
in its server by itself?
Well, yeah, why is it not going against everyone? Are we going to move Mercia over, install a last piece of ice to our hand? So we're now hot committed to having to res a 6 cost MIC to protect this architect deployment test, as well as a 3 cost Boomy to protect our working prototype that is unresed.
So so now I'm actually wondering if this is a fully op deck because
Yeah.
you could just stack the ice on server one. Like you could install that on server one and then
Yeah,
have the
it would
two
have been the
boomies
same
on
cost.
server one.
Yeah, so I guess this kind of almost has to be a fully op deck, and that does mean that like working prototype makes a bit more sense. It does make me
It
question
does.
tier even more, but
I mean, we were told that this is going to be some jank, so I'm here for it.
yeah. Oh wow, and runner is even
Okay,
hard calling us
running
here,
HQ.
running HQ with one card in hand, selling the
I think I
coalescence.
I think I literally go no res here. I don't think I'm resing this.
All right, evil Brennan disagrees, reses, but he can't. I think
I mean,
correctly
I
doesn't res
understand
the
why you
working
want to,
prototype.
but
I guess he could,
yeah,
but he would have to throw away his boomy as well.
no, no, you can't.
Also,
You
if
can't
if the
because you literally
Arsana,
go down to 2 credits.
yeah, if the Arsana
You go
player
down to two
like,
credits, you can't res the boomy.
yeah, well, I was just if the MIC fires, then like you could get the runner would only have 1 click left, so then you could fire the Mercia.
That's
But you're investing so much there, so
You're investing so
uh,
much, and you're also now literally saying, "Oh, Ari doesn't have an answer from hand," which like is not how you should be playing, right?
yeah, you
If
should
they
not
have
be playing
Entangler,
assuming. Yeah,
then like, who, buddy?
yeah. If Ari does play an Entangler here, you are very sad as Evil Brennan. Though Ari, in fact,
Yeah.
has no answer from hand here, um, so just loses 2 clicks. And plays
So then I see
a
fires,
creative commission.
and then creative commission for the last click. So runner
Yeah.
ends with 3 cards in hand and 10 credits, 40 cards in the stack, and we get to start our turn.
We draw a
So,
front company.
front
Okay.
company. We are definitely a fully op deck. Let's go.
Cool. So I think this is probably install front company res working prototype. Click it, res front company, click working prototype again.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
It's not a play I like, but I don't think there's a lot of others. I guess the other option is actually just res
We
the
do
working
need the
prototype and click
money.
for 2 credits, right? Um, which is maybe
Um, I think that you get the front company up because the working prototype is really, really important, and you have Boomy server 1, server 2. So
yeah. And the runner's
the
gonna
other
get
thing
some
is
value off of knickknacking and stuff. So like,
yeah, the other problem here though is definitely that like you want to actually be holding these Boomies against Ari in particular.
yeah.
You want them to be res at specific times, so you don't want to res them right now. But
Well, and we're not put. So we do install the front company, but we don't put it in server one, which already has ice. We're just putting it out naked on the board. Okay.
this is a bold. This is a bold play. This is
Yeah.
asserting dominance
With
right
6
now.
credits, I guess we have a decent amount. Like 6 credits is a decent number, but I feel like as RE, you're still just like, okay, I'll run R&D, or yeah, probably you run R&D here so you don't take the front company to the face, and then just go and clean out the front company, and you're reasonably happy here.
So I'm assuming RA spec works is the muse. No,
Nope, they
Knickknack's the
knick-knack it,
muse.
which I think is also
Oh yeah,
okay.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep, we res the Mitra, we decline to swap, we just basically play the delayed Beanstalk
Well, we don't have a
loyalties.
nice to swap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Trash a warm reception off the top of R&D, trash the front company, install
Yep.
a rising tide, and click to draw. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I think that
We got to draw off the lily pad and then we install a DZ.
this does look like if the front company was behind ice, then this I think looks a lot better. A
Yep.
lot better. I do like the Mitra working prototype interaction, which I only just now realized.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that
it can be
is
quite a few triggers.
yeah, that's a good number of triggers. So draw, send a message off of mandatory draw. Our hand is now Architect deployment test and send a message. Yeah, I think that we need to draw here pretty
Agreed.
badly.
We draw another front
Draw
company.
another front company.
I'm
I would
probably still
only
click
click
to
to
draw
draw again.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But nope, instead we're putting front company in a new remote that's uniced again, resing it,
We're
and
resing
then
the front
clicking
company.
working prototype. So
But now we have 10 credits. So now
now
we
we
can
have 10
res tier,
credits. Now we can, in fact, res the tier. We get a
which is all that
Prince.
we really want to be able to doing.
Yeah, so we have a Principia installed. Uh, and then now runner is going to run, trash the Principia, and it's approaching the unres tier with
Oh
7
yeah.
credits in hand and 4 cards in grip.
So I don't know if it's quote unquote correct to res tier here, but I think that you should do it. You got to do it. This is the reason why you built the deck. You got to res it here.
Yeah, I think
Ignore
it
the
is
fact that
pretty.
our economy
Yeah,
is going to be exposed, but
yeah. Ignore the fact that the runner can spend effectively somewhere between 3 and 5 credits to completely ignore the existence of this 10 cost card.
yeah. I mean, if you don't, they don't have it in hand, but two, oh, actually one, I think you're, oh wait, no, you can't hush this. You can't
No,
hush it because then you can't break. But I think
yeah,
that in my mind, so you're encountering the tier. I think that we take the 2 core, we um we only break the trash one installed runner card because that one we really do not want to let fire. We take the 2 core, we let it end the run, and then I'm running and trashing the working prototype.
yeah.
I guess
I think
oh no, it doesn't work because we have 2 clicks at the moment, and Mercia will end the run. That's sad.
yeah. I mean, we can see like there's a Muse in hand, so I actually don't know why the runner doesn't just use Ficerum, but instead they decide to click the core,
Oh yeah,
click the
that makes way more
trash,
sense.
um, and let the run get ended. Yeah, Muse for Ficerum, like
Maybe
it's
there's
just
no Ficerum in the deck.
I
Maybe.
refuse to believe that that's the case. I refuse to believe that that's the case. Anyway, Evil Brennan now has a 5-click turn, um, and 0 credits the start of his turn. So we're gonna click to get to 6. We drew an Antil 2.0. I really hope we protect the front company. We're going to install the architect's deployment test in server 1. I'd also be drawing for cards here. Maybe we'll hit econ. Hey, we do hit a warm
Yep.
reception. That's technically a card, and we're going to install it.
I'm good with the warm reception install here,
Yeah,
naked.
yeah. The architect
But
deployment test is a pretty bold install here, I think. But
the ADTE draw first, because we would be so much happier if we just had like 10 credits instead of 6 credits here.
yeah. Okay, we're going to res the Mercia and install the Ansel 2.0. To protect the architect's deployment test, which we're not even really threatening to score for multiple turns here, but that's okay. Runner installs environmental testing, installs a muse, search for chromatophores. Okay.
Okay.
Putting it
So I think
on.
is this RE list pumping Rising Tide and then
I think so.
chromatophoring things to make them
The
barrier breakers?
I I think
Is
that's
that
got
what
to
we're
be
doing?
the idea. Yeah, yeah. Is that we're
I
just
think
going for
so.
big. We're going for big tide. Um,
Big Tide.
oh no, there's a
Big
Physarum
Tide.
drawn, so it was in the
Oh,
deck.
well, we definitely should have Physarum. Definitely should have paid 5, paying 2 to Muse, 3 to actually bypass the tier. Last turn, that
Yep.
would have been real good. Why did the ice disappear? Oh,
It's MIC.
MIC
So
to end the run here because the runner got through,
yeah.
but they just
But
paid the
not.
click.
Yeah, the runner. Wait, how did the runner actually pay for this? I'm confused.
They have a
So the
click
runner has
left.
4 credits. This is a run on HQ. They have 1 click left. They
Are they
say
not? I
fire
think they just put
unbroken
a 0
subroutine.
credits, right? Oh, wait a second.
I think this is just a misclick.
Yeah, this might have been just a misclick.
Yep, I think Evil Brennan.
I just assumed that they broke all the things. Although I guess you're
But they
right. They would need
couldn't.
5 to break.
They would need 5
Yeah,
to
you're
break
right.
everything. So, um, you know, this
Misplay.
is this
Misplay.
is
You missed your actual subs. That's sad.
okay.
Oh my god, Trieste.
So yeah, okay. Well, that happening is certainly a thing, but yeah, now we see probably the point of the deck is a Trieste Biroids plus Worm Reception. Lets you turn all of your Biroid, like flicker Biroids, and front company protects that. So there's some kind of prison here. Um,
We're LEO prison. Let's go.
we're wide LEO prison.
Yep.
But we're not
As we
installing the
love. With
Trieste
gang.
Biroids. Yeah, with ganked. Okay,
With ganked.
okay.
Let's go.
Um,
Now this ganked, like, it's supposed to go on R&D probably, right?
I would assume so, but like as the runner, why am I ever running a server with a tier on it unless it absolutely wins me the game? Like it's really like
I
this
mean that
tier
yeah,
would be
you're
much
right. You're
better on
right.
HQ than R&D, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah, but like also now our front company, you can just run HQ to turn it off. Like it Oh, that makes more sense. I forgot
yeah,
about
using
Mercia.
Mercy to
Cool.
protect HQ makes sense here.
Yeah, it does.
All right, runner is installing another environmental testing, clicking for credit, installing a hush, and then spec working the hush, which makes a lot of sense. Don't not doing anything is really what we're doing here. Now we can
So
use
the
the warm
corp
reception to install the ganked. Oh, we can also flicker the ganks to make credits off of the warm reception
Yep.
working prototype engine if we want.
Did
Um,
we turn anything down with warm reception?
I
No.
don't think
I
so.
think
We probably should have turned down the working prototype.
yeah, I think we should have been saving up counters on this to balance the environmental testing. That probably
Yeah,
looks
putting an
like
environmental testing back on the
GG.
top of the deck here is GG.
Yeah.
You have to be pretty quick about it because RE decks usually can pop it the turn after they install it pretty routinely. But I think to me, like I do think clicking the working prototype to make 3 credits makes a lot of sense. I would want to be getting the Trieste model Biroids on the table and advancing the Architect deployment test because we do have an Ansel 2.0 and making that effectively unbreakable would be really nice here. Because Trieste means that Ari couldn't use breakers. Now, admittedly, with Physarum, it's less needed, but you also have the Boomy on the server, so like you have some real threats against Ari. But we are going to get a Spin Doctor going, which is a really nice warm reception combination.
Spin Doctor plus 1 reception is quite good. So on our turn, put to Drew, install spin, Drew to office spin, using Mercy to install things. And now we have an engine going with like warm reception.
Yeah. So we actually have a good corp engine, and now it's like, okay, just let's keep applying pressure and building a board state and running away with it. Runner does need to find a way to disrupt. Plays a ritual to draw 3. It's a coal, which makes them go from 5 to 17 credits because Shaper is balanced.
It's because the environmental testing got
the environmental testing got popped. Yeah, and a DCMZ and stuff like that. And then installing Taka, playing a creative commission. So
now right. Runner is rich.
Runner has 20 credits to the R Corpse 11. We've got warm reception installs, D-Res a spin, and there's the fully operational. So
we found it.
We did call that. Res a spin doctor, we got some more ice. We're going to single advance, I assume. Double advance, okay. And hedge fund. I think I'm moving more into just a play-by-play here. But maybe we can, if you feel like it's worth stopping.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what's where the direction the game goes, but I don't know if we need to finish the game. Yeah. So yeah, I think the play-by-play feels appropriate here.
Yep. All right, so runner goes for a I should say court finishes by basically putting the Trieste down and then icing it with the Mercy, like having Mercy Ballard install some ice on it. Runner then click 1 challenges a tier, now using the Physarum to bypass it, which doesn't. Yeah, basically a tier res. I think because Brennan maybe didn't realize that Physarum isn't spending credits to break subroutines. It's just spending credits to bypass. And it just happens that it has a relationship to the subroutines. Ganked is going to happen, but that just means that the runner spends another 3 of their starting of the turn with 23 credits. So not the end of the world for the runner here. Trashes the Spin Doctor, trashes the front company, trashes the Spin Doctor. Probably stopping here to do an install of something. Simulchip makes a lot of sense. Pops the other environmental testing. So they've got to both run through a tier effectively twice, trash 2 cards, and end up on the same credits plus a Simulchip. Not a bad turn for the runner. And this is honestly like why the Ari deck can be strong, is because it can hit these spikes of doing a lot in a turn. But
so Corp reses a warm reception. Well, I guess the same warm reception de-reses the Trieste. Sure, that's fine. I think you can also just de-res the working prototype itself.
So the reason that you res the Trieste is so that you can reset it for a different Biroid ice.
Oh, I forgot the Trieste, you actually have to choose. Yeah, okay. Never mind. That makes sense. That's good.
So we're going to play the fully op to make 4 decisions because there's 3 ice remotes. So first one is draw 2. I think that's a good one. We see a Vovo and a front company. I do think the one weird thing about playing the fully operational this turn is that we also have a 2 advanced card in server 1.
We have a 2 advanced card in server 1. I would have much rather preferred to hold the fully op.
Yeah.
Server 5 warm reception because they already know what it is. go to 5 counters on the working prototype, bounce the knack, I guess,
I,
just to get credit totals up, and
yeah,
then score out this thing in server one.
yeah, I think that makes more sense to me because we basically just we gained 6 off the fully operational and drew 2 cards. It's actually the working prototype is effect going to do basically the same thing. Would have done the same thing and slow the runner down by a full card draw.
Yep.
Um, but we're gonna play the fully op and then score an architect deployment test and getting a free Ansel 2.0. We can't see, unfortunately, in the replay um, from this view what the choices were, and I don't want to. The court view
Yeah, I
had
think it's fine.
a yeah.
We can
So
keep
second, yeah,
moving.
and then we make a new remote for Mercia, even though we just played the fully op, which again this feels like another reason to hold the fully op for a turn. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Runner installs
So
a
the runner then,
Principia.
yep. This was Principia, drawing a card off of Lily Pad. Click 2 makes a run on the working prototype server.
Yep.
Uses Knick-Knack to trash Principia, gaining 4 credits and drawing a card. The corp then reses Boomy. Nice, killing the Ysengrin. Boomy is important in this matchup. We did it.
Yep. Traumatic Force comes
Ari,
down.
Ari then, yeah, installs Chromatophores from hand using her ability.
Yep. And because there's now 2 fractors in the heap, can the Rising Tide plus Chromatophores can break the Boomy for just 2 credits. Actually, yeah, just 2 credits.
Now that's what
Uh,
I call value.
yep. And
Volume
then we're going to use
21.
LEO to trash the Chromatophores and deny the runner a click. Runner's now going to run
We
back and
do
trash the working
like
prototype,
that.
which makes a lot of sense. I think that's one of the interesting questions: do you go after the warm reception here or the Mercia? I think it's
I go after the Mercia every day of the week.
oh, okay. I was going to say
Also
the warm
because the
reception, but
nah. I mean, the warm reception is just installing cards at this point, and like the corp party has installed all the cards that they wanted and needed to. The Mercia, especially since um
yeah,
the ability was actually used this turn, you run server 8,
yeah,
you trash the Mercia because it's a defensive upgrade.
yeah. It's very vulnerable. Runner instead chooses to
Yeah.
use their simul chip to put the Chronophores on the tier and install an Urban Art Vernissage. I think again, this is a little bit like I have to get all of my value brain going on, and maybe not thinking about the actual board state and what's like what can be
Yep.
done next turn versus done right now. Um,
What are my win conditions and why am I playing towards
yeah,
uh like what board state am I trying to play towards?
yep,
Granted, the answer might be the board state that I'm trying to play towards is putting all the Principias in my bin and doing the cool trick.
yeah, that might be true too. So we see Evil Brennan putting another working prototype in his scoring remote and a front company out wide, clicking it twice. I kind of don't like this play that much because we could have just played a single hedge fund and ended up at the same credit total. I guess we'd be down, like, or a very similar credit total. I guess we'd be down a credit, but we could potentially put the Melia City luxury line that we have in our hand in the remote to try and score. Um, so, um, um, yeah, we then runner adds Chromatic Force to their hand, installs Propeller, which is free, and then trashes it, making the Rising Tide even bigger. Uh, now Brennan reses an MIC on HQ. I don't know that I actually love this res here. It feels odd to go down to 6 credits to protect HQ. Um, um,
um
and then,
Chromatophore. Are the
yeah,
chromatophores from hand? Yeah, because they got bounced
yep,
for the urban art
yep,
vernissage.
and then fire. I mean, like the justifiable thing about resing the MIC is that you then get to fire it, deny click, and trash a Trojan, which is like a decent amount of value. Um, so runner jacks out, installs a simul chip, Simulchips the Chromatophores back on. So they're all in on Simulchip being an important card. They also install Twinning, which is a bit of an unusual win condition for a lot of RA decks, though it's not unreasonable. Um, so, yep. We're just going to keep putting stuff down with more receptions, clicking, working prototypes. And now we're going to put the Melia City Luxury line in a new server, protecting the brand. I really don't understand why it's not going in server 8. We could just have an extra ice protecting it, which seems better than having, like, especially if my opponent is playing Rising Tide deck, a single brand seems like one of the worst things I'd want protecting my server when I could also have a Sleipnir too. Um,
I
so
mean, the brand is actually slightly more taxing than the than the Sleipnir, just because
well, they actually don't
Entangler,
have
but
a,
your the Entanglers are taxed. So
yeah, the Entanglers and Chromatophores are taxed. And like there's gonna be one more Principia and two more propellers in this list, so like the brand's gonna become 3 credits very quickly, whereas like the Chromatophores and
yeah,
stuff is gonna go
yeah.
wide. Sorry, we're just Brendan said the end of this game is good, so I'm actually just gonna start like fast forwarding because I think we kind of hit the, like, things are happening, both players are building up. Brennan is slowly building up server 10, which has his Melia City Luxury line in it. There's some runs on an empty HQ for reasons I don't quite understand. I guess the front company is probably the reason there. Um, we're clicking to draw. No, we're not clicking to draw.
Yeah,
Uh,
clicking just to advance the server, scoring out a
yep.
train.
Yep.
And then with our train click, what did we do? We just drew a
We
card.
just, yeah, I guess we did.
Yeah. I
Yep.
don't hate it.
Nope, not bad at all. Wait, there's now a 6 strength Rising Tide, a Unity down. Yeah, Carl Res. I think a Carl Trieste is a unbreakable server, which is a fun little trick. Um, I think there's actually like
When
no
you res
tools.
by storing a run against the server, you may de-res another install card. If you do, the runner cannot use paid abilities, present on Biodroid dice for the remainder of the turn. No, it's
Uh,
Trieste. Like,
Trieste says
Trieste prevents
runner
you
can't
from.
use their abilities to break subroutines on the chosen ice.
Sure,
Um,
they can't break. They can't use. Runners can't use runner card abilities. A Carl says you can't use
you can't use the
Biodroid
Byroad abilities.
abilities.
Yep,
Um,
and you can't.
Chromatophores Entangler does work.
It does not
Get
work
wrecked.
because Physarum says non-barrier
Fuck, that's right.
ice.
We did put that on that card. Good job,
Yeah,
us.
good job, us.
Look, it said Sentry and Koge for a while.
um, all right, so yeah, we now Evil Run is now at 3 credits here. Load bearing worm working prototype clicks back up to 6 or 8, excuse me. Gonna keep Mercy of Ballarding around. Conduit comes down. This is I was about to say it's the most optimistic conduit of all time because there's a on sale 2.0 and a tier on R&D, but I think this is just because the DZMZ plus knickknack makes it a +2 credits and +2 cards for a click, which is totally
I
fine.
mean, you could also like
Oh, and
with the
also the
chromatophores,
UAV
like
makes it, gives you twin encounters off of it too.
that is true.
Oh, okay.
Oh
We're
my,
installing Marjana
we
because we need to
have
spend influence to get our an even bigger Rising Tide, and I guess it also does make a bigger Unity and Echelon. Um,
we have 6 fractors in this deck.
uh, uh, More than that, I think, because we've got 3 Principias. We see 1 Rising Tide, 1 Propeller, so that's 5 plus 6. So we have 7 that I count, like 7 showing with 12 cards left in the deck.
That is
Uh,
a lot of breakers to put
yeah.
into a deck.
We're going to sell the 0 cost uh, Marjana instead of the conduit. Okay. Uh, Break the Ansel 2.0 and then immediately jack out just because we wanted to connect. We wanted to spend 4 credits or 3 credits from our credit pool to do nothing to get the knick-knack trigger, I
I mean,
guess.
the way they were charging twinning would be with Trickster, so like I would spend credits off of Trickster for the twinning counter.
They'd already charged that turn off of
They
the
had already
Urban
gotten it.
Vernissage, which is the funky thing to me.
You're right. You're right.
Um, I'm gonna say like there's kind of nothing
Wow.
happening for a little bit here. Oh, okay, no, we're making a run on R&D with 2
This is
chromatophores.
the reason why I was like, yo, I can see the conduit being relevant. You just double chromatophores.
Even Run Res is a spin doctor,
So
draws, has 9 points in hand, and there's 8 points in. So
so
all 20
draws.
points are. So R&D
Yes,
is
this is all 20
8.
points.
Yeah, it's all R&D is empty.
This is all 20 points because we can see all 3 trains. There's a train in Evil Brand's scoring area. There's Architect Deployment Test. That's 5 points. There's 2 trains and a send a message in hand. That's 9 points. So that's still 14. Oh no, I think we're missing 1. There would be 1 agenda. There would need to be a third send a message to get to 20 points.
Yeah. Uh. Oh, am I off by 1? Yeah, I think that must be right. 8 plus 9. Yeah, there's got to be more than that.
It's
Yeah.
6 3-pointers is 18. So there's
Yeah. Yeah.
1 send the message in R&D, but it does mean that even if you access all of the cards in R&D, you're not winning the game. So
Yep. Yep.
which is usually what Conduit is trying to do.
Yep.
So
That is usually what Conduit is trying to do. We are going to actually run HQ here, which I think is a great choice. We have to
oh
trash a
no.
tier to res a
Oh yeah.
tier. And then we're going to put a Trieste on it so it can't be broken.
The chromatophores won't help you here.
The chromatophores won't help you here. Runner gives 2 clicks to prevent a core damage and gain 3. And I think one of the cards in server, server 7 is Amelius Luxury Line. We have 5 clicks, but we don't have
We
5
need
credits,
money.
so we don't
We don't have the
win.
money.
So we're gonna fully operational, make a lot of money. We're gonna advance server 7 twice, 3 whole times even. That feels
That's just like BM. That's BM.
that is just BM.
This is
like
BM right here. This is
especially
illegal.
because the face up ice on the server is a Hakarl, like the most breakable ice in your entire deck with an 8 strength, soon to be 9 strength rising tide in the list.
Also, well, I think the Trieste might still be on the Hakarl, right? But like,
no, the
why
Trieste
not?
is fixed on the HQ tier
Oh
right
fuck, you're
now.
right. You're right. It's on there. I also feel like we should be moving Mercia Ballard to server 7 here.
Yeah, yep. I agree. We're gonna Muse Coalescence, run server 7. We've got 2 clicks left. Do we have?
So we
How do
MIC
oh,
them.
we have. Okay, yeah, we use Unity to break the MIC is gonna
So we
steal a
MIC
click,
them. So they
and
need 1
then
click. Then you
and then
sack it to
you
Leo.
LEO them.
Takes the last click.
Yep.
So then they can use 1 more click. They have 1 click
Yep.
remaining. They use it to run it and its train. So
Yep. And so we have. This is why the triple advance was not BM, is because now we have the clicks to advance.
we could have.
Oh
No, it was BM.
no.
It was BM.
It was BM. Yeah.
It was
Okay.
BM. You could just have more money and gone click, click, click. We could have clicked for the credit on the previous turn instead of on this turn.
All
This is
right.
the reason why Brennan wanted us to review this. It was literally just for the triple advance BM.
Yeah. Okay. So I think, lessons to think about from this game. Honestly, they stand out. I mean, more so for the runner, I think, than the corp this game, but like you don't need to extract every ounce of value out of every card you play. The like speed of your game is more in like it's the reason people talk about like tempo as the most important thing in Netrunner some rather than efficiencies. Or than like efficiency, because uh while installing Lilypad was more efficient because you got more triggers, it was a much worse like tempo play because they were unable to do anything for like an extra whole turn. Um, and I do think
Yeah, I
Brennan
think.
had some of this too, of just like, let's just keep doing silly things and not thinking about like, okay, how can I get to the win the fastest here?
Well, okay,
Um,
look. I have no problem with doing silly things. I like doing silly things, but I do still want to see the best execution on silly things because it helps the silly things work.
yeah,
So, like, I think the early front company should have gone behind ice. I think there's like an early working prototype that could have been a little bit better protected. Um, if you know that you are going to end up in this kind of situation where you're going to double ice for servers, then I think your first server can be double ice to protect like
yeah,
the whatever the early like economy thing was, or like the Mercia.
yeah. I think
The other
that's
thing,
actually. Sorry, go ahead.
mhm. I think the other thing is like in deck construction, is like we should probably pick. I think we should pick a lane. Should pick a lane and stick to that lane. You know,
do
like
do big
there might
ice
be like one
or
too many
do
concepts
wide,
in here.
Leo. You maybe don't need to do
Yeah,
big,
yeah, yeah.
you don't need to do wide
Both is
and tier in the same deck. That's a little bit difficult to.
like I'm actually completely fine with like Trieste a single tier, but like I think that the ganked is probably a bridge too far
Mm,
with the other stuff going on. Like do Trieste front company, sure, a single tier, but then like actually go bigger on like the Hakarl angle,
hmm.
right? I mean Hakarl and like your other ice, and then yeah, double down on like, hey, I'm going to be playing fully operationals and I'm going to draw through decks, and then like when I've instead of using 10 credits on the tier, I can use all of that tempo to like that I would have spent on the tier to just like score out and like win, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, this is a great deck for where like, oh, instead of playing the gank, we could play a Hollow Man. And like that's gonna fit with our
Yeah.
plan of going wide and deal
Yeah.
and let our you score our 5/3s more easily, so we're not just going install advance or install a
Yep.
couple turns later advance. Like it gives us a lot of options and it can move around to help us fill up the servers. Like Hollow Man seems like a great fit for this style of deck. Like whereas like the Mitra feels a little bit out of place. Like it doesn't actually really help your fully op plan because if you have to use it, you're losing the fully op, and it's not providing a lot of value there.
Is there something with the Mitra and the Trieste though? Also, I do like the Mitra and the working prototype quite a bit. So
Yeah,
there's a world where, yeah, I don't, because like Mitra also does let you take a thing that was res, they approach it, you swap it out for something else that wasn't res, and you get like more working
yeah.
prototype
I
counters.
think the issue with that to some extent is like, yes, it gives you 3 credits back to go and rest that ice, but like every single piece of ice here costs 5, pretty much. I guess there's the
This is
sleepiers
in
and the
the world
boomies.
where like, yeah, this is look, this is in a world where we're playing not tier, and we're playing like maybe one tier max, and like maybe max one Ansel like 1.0,
I
but
guess
that's
to me
probably
the oh, I'm gonna use Mitra to like value get multiple reses on my ice is not as exciting when I'm paying like 3 to 8 credits to res my
you're
ice.
right. It's not. It's
So
also like not the. I'm sure that we could do other things with the influence, like run 2 copies of Hollow Man, for example.
yeah,
It, look, if we are going in for the memes and we're building around, I mean, look, it's not even memes.
yeah.
I do enjoy taking a card
No,
and
I
saying like, what is the extreme to which we could push this? So like,
yeah. I mean,
what
I do
is the
think
extreme that we could push
the
fully off
front
Leo,
company
right?
Trieste like Leo like this deck feels a little bit like it's trying to play like a replicating perfection style deck.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really cool fantasy to chase. And I don't even think like I think this deck is a nice idea in that, but I think something that like would make this deck better is like replicating perfection did not just play all of the expensive Jinteki ice, right? It had a couple of expensive ice
hmm
to like punch and make things like so the runner had to play around them and like could shape the landscape of the board. But it also ran cheap ice that was there to fill a role, and I think this deck could definitely use that. I was going to say back to your other point of like if you know that your endgame board state is usually going to look like having 2 to 3 remotes with at least 2 ice on them, you should build for that earlier. Like something that the very good Glacier players do, that I talk about all the time, is like they think about not just where does this ice go to solve the problem on my board right now, but can I also place this ice so that it solves the board that's part of my ideal final board state for ice. Um,
Yep.
because yeah, it's like, oh,
Which
I
is
see.
actually,
Yeah,
which is like where it came up this game with the early ice placement with like boomies, where like
yeah,
the inner ice on server 1, if I'm not mistaken, protecting the working prototype, I think is in fact a boomy. And like, again, boomy is probably the single best thing you could be resing in this matchup at certain times, and you never got an opportunity to actually res it. Also, probably one of the best things to actually have de-resed, now that I think
yeah.
about it, with the warm reception.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very good card in this matchup, and they kind of just ended up floating on remotes that or no, sorry, I guess one of them did get fired to win the game, so that's something. But oh no, that was the Carl. Never mind. Um,
There was one that did
there was one
fire
that
on a
did have
remote at some point, but like,
a potent fire. Yeah,
but yeah, like the first turn we installed MIC on HQ and tier on R&D, and I think it very easily should have been Boomy on HQ. I mean, probably sure tier on R&D. Like, I probably want the MIC for the scoring remote
yeah. I
against
guess
Shaper.
I don't like the tier on R&D because the runner can just say, okay, I'm not going into R&D, right? And like you've now spent 9 credits, and like I guess or 10 credits. I guess yes, you've closed off a server, but like you spent 10 credits on that, and like as we also saw, like it's not actually completely closed off. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
So I think the reason why I like the big expensive ice in R&D, like tier, is because R&D is the most likely to be the least impactful run, which is like seems counterintuitive with your biggest ice, but it's like I get to choose if it is worthwhile for me to spend this much money to punish the runner. It's
mhm.
also the most likely time for the runner to make the like on that server and go like, oh, I just need to make a value run, or I'm poking, or like whatever else. Like, this is not my most impactful run, and so like they're more likely to do it when they have lower credit totals, or they have other things that they need to accomplish in the same turn, right?
Yeah.
So that's usually the reason why I'm like big spiky ice that
Hmm.
is like a stretch, and I probably should include in the deck anyways. Yeah, I'll throw this on R&D. Because presumably it's not that it's actually there to like protect R&D long term, like to like make it so they go through. It's like I want them to run into this, and when they run into it the single time, I'm in a position to make it like so that it swings the game in my favor, so that it was actually worth the 10 credits. And like, you don't want to have that be on a remote, and then you're
Yeah.
forced to res it in a situation when it's like really awkward for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that does make a lot of sense, and I think you've won me over. So yeah. Yeah. The second tier, I will say, I would find another piece of ice that you could put in that list. But
Yep. Yep.
and yeah, we also, yeah, we did not mention. I mean, we're not here to talk about the runner side play. A 9 strength Rising Tide. I don't even think there is a 9 strength ice in the format. Um, so probably
It is funny.
could cut a
It is.
Marjana from the list and put in a pinhole.
I.
Um,
But also, can we just play Propeller? Because Propellers.
Propeller is actually just better than an 8 strength Rising Tide, which is kind of sad.
I mean,
Uh,
it's not better in the long term, but also we wouldn't have to spend deck slots on Chromatophores, Marjana, spend Influence on Rising Tide, spend 3 deck slots on Principia, and instead we could just play 3 slots or 2 slots for Propeller, and then never have to think about barriers ever again. That seems pretty good.
Oh, someone. Oh man, at some point, someone should ask a question about. I would love to hear what people's thoughts are on Propeller, because I definitely have a lot of thoughts on the card. But that's for
At
a regular measure
least,
response episode, like potentially
at
next
least it
week's.
can run out. At least it can run out.
Yes. Oh, Meteor calling out. It's actually a 9 strength Rising Tide does not match a fully advanced Pharaohs. And technically, of course, Logjam could scale infinitely. So, um, checkmate
Oh
atheists, I
no,
guess.
I'd
Um,
have to pay 4 credits to fully break a 10 strength pharaoh. So no, what will I ever do?
yeah. All right. Well, given that we've been going for an hour and a half, we probably can't do the
Yeah.
third replay we were hoping to do. And we'll next time we will one of us will pre-watch these replays and figure out, okay, is there uh let's make sure that we can jump to the good points for the 2 fun replay. These were meant to be our light appetizer fun replays, and we you know spent 90 minutes on them. So, but
We'll figure
anyway,
it out.
yeah, I still had a good time. I hope everyone watching at home did too. Um, and yeah, next week is going to be a regular measured response. The week after that is probably going to be a replay analysis, barring any major thoughts. Yeah. Any plugs or closing thoughts, Safer?
Super Chunk coming to Kickstarter September 29th.
Sick.
It'll be my first solo design. Please support it. It's very important to me. Thank you very much.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a good night and say bye, Safer.
Bye, Safer.